of the randori, because they say, oh, now we understand it's not competition, you know, who is faster, but we see technical practice.
Right, right.
They see how the kids execute the technique and what they have to learn and improve. So that was the idea behind. What I want to ask you, this is O-Sensei Hal Sharp, one of the legends in Judo, and what I want to ask you, your idea of a mirror mind. If you can talk a little bit about the mirror mind and the aspect of randori, but mostly importantly, how to read your opponent. This is very important because people don't understand that you have to read your opponent.
Right.
And that's your concept of mirror mind.
Right, right. That's, in fact, this was, this is a reprint of a 100-year-old book, Kyohan Judo. This book, the English version was 1915, 100 years old. The Japanese version was probably 1900, 1905. Then this was translated by 1910 and actually published 1915. And this book, Kyohan means instruction manual. So Judo Kyohan just means instruction manual. Now this book has about 300 pages. The first 100 pages tells you it's the key to techniques. How do you make things work? The next 200 pages, it describes each technique just by itself. But it doesn't get that involved as doing it from a competitive standpoint. And this brings out the mirror mind and other things. So this is where some of the original writings came from. I just want to mention that. The mirror mind is basically, you have to read your opponent. Somebody is trying to defeat you. So the mirror mind is made up of two parts. One is visual, and the other is feel. You become a part of the person. You can't do it just visually. Partly, you know, a quick move, okay, boom, boom, you move to the side. So the mirror mind talks about becoming a part of that person. And so you can react to that. And so they use the term mirror mind. And so now it's like when you drive an automobile, you know, if you have good posture, your vision is peripheral. You're just looking out like this. You're not looking at any particular car or something, right? Then you know, you have confidence that if something happens, you can react without thinking about it. And that's what the mirror mind is. So one of the big areas I talk about in this book that I've just done is the power of Shizentai. Shizentai is the word for the natural posture. You just stand just naturally, all right? But it's more than that. It's your mind. So your vision, you're looking maybe 20, 30 feet behind a person. You're not looking at their eyes or at their feet. See? Just like when you drive a car, you look peripherally. And you have confidence that that works. If you don't have confidence, you're not going to do that. You're going to look. All right. So, and then the feeling when you touch somebody. Now, one of the problems we have, because we're wearing judo gis, is we're using our hands to grip, and so then our mind goes in our hand. And what Ishikawa taught me. And I was picking this up, but it was nice to have some words that, he says, put your mind in your elbows. Pull from your elbow, push from your elbow. And also the direction of your force from your elbows is to the person's center of gravity. Because when they move, they're moving their body from the lower, this is the area where the power is. If they're just moving here, you don't have to worry about it, all right? But once they move here, and you just can touch it. Just like mat work, you lay on a person, and you just have a drill where they try to get up, and you don't grip anything, just try to ride them, okay? So you do the same thing standing. Now that's easy to say, and when you're dealing in strong randori, free practice, or competition, how do I really do that? So you actually have to concentrate on not concentrating. And then you find, it's like a miracle, he couldn't throw me. Here's this person always threw me. And by just being a shizentai and balancing myself on him, nothing happened. I don't believe it. So this was my experience in Japan. It came about, and then I heard another story of a high-ranking legend in judo that he was training with another very Nagano, I think, who was 10th degree. This high-ranking, he could throw anytime he wanted with his, he had one of these self-sacrifice zones, you know, dropping down. And this student I'm talking about became an 8th degree, and he was the father of Sato, the Aikido teacher that I brought over, okay, he was here. And he was telling how no matter what he did, Nagano could throw him with that throw. One night, he was practicing, hard practice, he was tired. He says, he's going to throw me, so I'm not even going to fight it. That was the key, don't fight it. Nagano went into the throw, and he couldn't throw him. And then he found himself doing Nagano's throw to other people. And Nagano says, now you understand. So the same thing happened with me. Kobayashi, who I wrote Sport of Judo with, could throw me almost any time he wanted with his uchimata. Because I knew he was going to do it. And I had this little, you know. So one night in the Kodokan, it was summer, hot, sweaty. Near the end of practice, Kobayashi comes to me, we bow, we're going to practice. And I thought, he's going to throw me, so I'm not even going to worry about it. Boom, he came in, nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. I said, Sensei, moichido, do it again. And he did, nothing happened. And all of a sudden I realized the power of Shizentai by staying in the posture that way. Sometime later, and of course now I'm becoming more educated in this because of my time with Ishikawa.
Can I just say to the public who is Ishikawa?
Ishikawa was two-time All Japan champion. He's the one that had a draw with the famous Kimura. And
a judo legend, Kodokan judo legend.
Yeah. Well, Kimura is like the toughest guy in the world almost, all right. So there was a teacher from one of the universities, excellent judo, kind of a tall Japanese, nice structure. And the young black belts were lined up in the Kodokan to fight him. And boom, 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 he was just throwing that with a smile on his face, no problem. I said, hey, I got to practice with him. So I went up to him, Sensei onegashimasu, grip, boom, I'm through the air. I said, okay, boy-san, get your act together. So now I came to him, my elbows near my sides, balanced on him. We're moving around. I can't get him. I'm trying to, but he can't do a thing to me. So he looks at me, because he couldn't get anything, no matter what he did. So he looks at me, and he stops breathing. And I stop breathing. And he smiled, he says, ah, wakata ne. Wakata means you understand. He smiled, you understand. He thought that was great. And the last time I was in Japan, we were we went out to have dinner with Osawa, who was the real legend in throwing. He was fantastic. We were chatting about our experiences, and Osawa said to me, "You had classic judo. In fact, I could hardly ever throw you." And I almost cried, because Osawa would just barely touch you, and you were through the air. He threw Anton Giesing, the giant, 5 times in free practice. And Giesing's 260 pounds, and Osawa's like 150. With his foot sweep, his timing was incredible. It was unbelievable. You can't believe it. You just barely touch a person, and you're flying through the air like this, and like, what happened, you know? And he's got a smile on his face while he's doing it, see? So that's what the mirror mind is, getting back to it, is that you have confidence. Just let the guys try to throw you, but just look peripherally and feel, lean on them. It's like dancing. You hold your partner. If you don't hold tight, hold relaxed, you can feel your partner's body, and you just move together. You know, and so so it's not. Now, how do you practice it? Well, there's a couple ways. You can practice blindfolded. And what I do is I try to have people lean. I'll just show you here a second here. All right, stand up a second. See, let's say to practice, you just be holding me here. See, okay? You hold me, and then what I'm doing is I'm going to lean here on you slightly. See, and my elbows are going. See, I'm in that way. See, so if you turn in for a throw, just turn in any direction.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So you're stopping me with.
See, no matter what you
and
do.
you're not doing. You're just dropping your weight.
Yeah. I just.
Okay, interesting.
So yeah, so then I can boom take you as you move. See, so what I'm doing is, first I turn my wrist this way. This is important. See, if you turn your wrist that way, you notice how your elbows go on your side.
Yes.
See, so if you were to have your wrist this way and put a hand under here, and you try to hold, you can pull your hand out.
Out. Yes.
Turn your wrist that way and open your chest a little, and you got it locked.
Interesting.
See, so this way I've got my elbows. See, by just turning the wrist, my elbows come in, and my elbows going towards your center of gravity.
Yes, I felt pushing it down. Yes.
So a little bit more like a boxer, not this way.
Yes. That's the problem. I see a lot of people who do not just judo but karate. They're trying to be like a stiff like this, like a tree. And my students, I tell them to relax, be like a little, you know.
Well, see, the word relax is like love. What does that mean? Okay, it's a big word, honey. I don't know if I love you, okay. So, relax, is that this way? You know, what is relax? So relax is not fighting the other person. Being in a stable position. See, now you have to be able to, see, when you're doing a throw or something, one leg is driving, one hand is typically lifting and driving, the other one is pulling, is rotating. Of course, you can do both up and change, you know, say. So this relaxed business means that you're, by being able to take your supporting foot under you so you have balance. See, if I want to do a foot sweep, I'm standing here and I reach out like this, I'm off balance. So I have to bring this foot here so I can take the foot. I have to be balanced. I have to have a leg underneath me. I can't do it with my legs reaching out like this. See, people see these foot sweeps, and what they see in their mind is you're taking your foot and taking his foot, but they have no idea about this foot here. Now you're way apart. You're doing this. You know, you're
overextended, off balance. Yes.
You're off balance. So what you have to do is you bring this foot in, then you catch. Bring this in, then you catch, or you step back. So you're always, your supporting foot is under you. See, if you don't, just a slight push, you fall down. Because most of the judo throws, if you look at the form, it's actually silly. It's fairly easy to throw something. If someone just does the form, just lifts a leg up to do something, you're going to, it's so easy to throw them. Like Osoto Gari. Just take your foot and pick it up like that. Look how stupid you are. You're standing here with a leg in the air. You know.
Yeah.
So when you come in, the person's going to be going here, here, here before your leg ever hits him. See? And you can just feel it. And I bring them around this way. See, I always go opposite. There's what they call action and reaction in judo. I want to throw you over here, Osotogari. If I go straight into you and you're trained, you instinctively, you'll block me. No problem. I'll have a hard time getting in there. If I go and bring you up around like this, my step, all of a sudden you're trying to retain your balance. See, and I have you. You see. So, here you go.
Thank you.
So